BodyBags, where horror lies.
Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you. I'm your regular Wednesday evening host here at BodyBags. It is week 424. It is the second week in, therefore it is film from a specific year. And the year we're dealing with all throughout this week is, of course, 1986. And the film, of course, I got for you is The Wind, a Nico Mastorakis film. And with the 80s as they're coming to an end by 86, of course, I don't think they're really ending on a whimper by any stretch. Just think of the films that came out in 86 here. Texas Chainsaw 2, Friday the 13th Part 6, you got Shopping Mall Demons 2, you've got Aliens, you got The Fly, you've got From Beyond, you've got April Fool's Day, you've got Raw Rex. I mean, it's just on and on and on, man. 86 was a pretty decent year as far as that's concerned. But 1986 will also bring us the film The Wind. And this is an absolutely gorgeous Arrow release of this. Reversible cover art, some really good extras, including a really cool interview with Nico. And this is the original artwork, I do believe. The other, of course, inside. And a nice book, man, with a nice essay from a contributor to Fangoria, among other things, which really breaks down his three films, Blood Tide, Island of Death, and of course, The Wind. From 86, right? And really basically what you have here is, man, you got Shan, or really it's pronounced Sean in the film. Meg Foster plays a writer. She lives in Los Angeles, and she's renting a villa from one Robert Morley. Just saw him in Beat the Devil with Humphrey Bogart the other day. Just an outstanding actor, man. Very, very... It's hard to describe, man. He's just fun to watch. And so she rents this villa from him, really rich old guy, down there in the Greek Isle of Montevasa. I think that's how you say it. And so she leaves her husband/boyfriend. I don't know if it's ever really said exactly, but she leaves him back home. And she goes to spend just enough time, apparently, to finish up a book there in some solitude, as this island, we find out through the early narration, which leads, this is a segue into the time that both Robert Morley will spend with Meg Foster's character in the opening 6 minutes and 31 seconds of screen time that those two will share together, which is freaking awesome, man. And just the dialogue that they share back and forth, it's so much fun to listen to Robert Morley, man. And so basically, you learn that at one point there was probably 60,000 plus on this island, but it's been depopulated over time, and which, you know, makes it a very, very isolated sort of place for a film like this, which really is a home invasion / siege in a Hitchcockian thriller sense, maybe the Rear Window sort of idea, right? Someone sees an aftermath of a potential murder having taken place. The would-be killer then gets an eye on the person who has seen them, and then the rest of the film is about, how do I eliminate this person so I can go on doing what it is that I want to go on doing. And so really, that really is what ultimately happens once her and Robert Morley have sort of parted ways for the time being. She settles into her villa, then wings Hauser, who plays Phil. He's the handyman that she is warned about. In fact, she's warned about two things at the beginning of this movie. Robert Morley he'll warn her about the wind, that it'll be so severe at times, and not even to leave the house at all at night, just because it's so dangerous. And he warns her of Phil. He doesn't trust him at all, but he pays him pretty cheap, so he sort of keeps him on. And so she'll settle into once she's there and she meets Robert Morley's character, and she has her absolutely beautiful 6 minutes, 31 second screen time. Yes, I was impressed. I was so heavily impressed with that. She, later on that night, she'll witness what she believes to be the aftermath of a murder. She'll go investigate, and in so doing, of course, is the catalyst for the rest of the film, which really is a home invasion type. And, you know, and we're told a lot of things in the opening narration from Robert Morley's character, you know, that this is an old island community, you know, it stretches like 2,000 years, that, you know, when they built their homes into the side of the cliffs, and whatnot. They also built just a labyrinth of tunnel networks in the interior for shelter and safety, not so much from the wind or the element as it is from, as he says, the natives just got tired of having shells for breakfast. It is just an incredible piece of dialogue that really, you know, I mean, I'm very fond of a lot of pieces of dialogue that just, I mean, I can just go watch that piece of dialogue and then just not even watch the rest of the film and be happy with it. I just think of George C. Scott and Ed Flanders. Is it Ed Flanders, who plays Father Dyers in Exorcist 3. That whole dialogue, man, that they share together is just absolutely insane. The dialogue that we get from, let's say, The Thing from 51, and then there's movies that I'm very fond of where just the dialogue is amazing, and the time that Meg Foster spends with Robert Morley in that short 6 minutes is just great, man. It's just great to see, you know, just her bounce off of him bounce off of her, and it just, and it's, his character is the type that she's not used to, and I don't say she gets intimidated by him, but he definitely has a larger than life that she's not used to. She's used to being in command of every situation, you would presume, and he is one that sort of shakes things up a bit. It's just great to watch, man. It's really great to watch. Of course, shot live down on near Montevessa, I think, down in the Greek Isles. And the cinematography is absolutely beautiful, man. Absolutely beautiful. Just saw a little bit of this in Athens from Case of the Scorpion's Tail not too long ago. But the cinematography, the music, man, really sort of rings at moments, sounds like Psycho. It's Hans Zimmer. At moments, there's a callback to Psycho. Sometimes it feels like a call to Absurd, which is really funny. You just don't normally would hear that, right? And so it is this siege, and it really is a battle of wits between Meg Foster and Wings Hauser throughout most of the film. And what makes it such a fun film is this house has got like four or five entrances where you can kind of get in and out, because all these houses, I think, are like interconnected and connected with one another. And of course, he's the handyman, so he knows every entrance, any way to get in and out. And it takes a while for her to sort of get caught up on that and then sort of gain command of the situation. But in the end, will she, in her own ability to handle herself as a really strong character, will she be able on her own, or will she need a little bit of help? And help does come, but in more ways than one. It is definitely a fun movie to watch, and it is very tame, not a lot of gore at all, hardly none. It is really just a sort of almost a PG, almost a PG level thriller, but works well, man, within its own restraint. That makes sense. It works really well. Of course, you got a great cast, which always carries a film when money is an issue. And so The Wind, man, it's so tame that I even let my 9-year-old boy watch it with me the other night, and he got a kick out of it. And yeah, so great release from Arrow. Just trying to think what else. I do want to pair it up with a movie. I've never done this before, but in light of the score, in light of the scenery, the cinematography, I'll steal an idea from Jason over at Horrific Nightmares, and I'll drop this link down at the bottom. But he always, in his Fangoria challenge, he'll link up the movie he's reviewing with another movie and as a double feature or whatever. And so I'm going to just link it up with Anthropophagus, man. Another movie shot in the Greek Isles, and the architecture alone, the scenery, except it is a massive rainstorm in this film, of course, that carries you through much of the terror throughout the night. In this one, it is the wind, which plays a character in of itself, almost as well as, say, The Fog in Carpenter's original film, right? The wind is it's definitely its own character, and it's used to great I lost the word I was going to say. It's used well, man. It's used well. Just the scenery, the locale, the cast. Of course, this is a Nico film, right? And I don't think I said this, but man, much of that's at the heart of his filmmaking is this notion that his home in the Greek Isles, he has seen destroyed, as he says, from the intrusion of foreigners and tourism, and all of this stuff has been the worst nemesis of his home. And so the antagonists generally are speaking foreigners from other countries who bring their own sense of terror and destruction to his home, island of death, right? So that makes it for definitely an interesting message underlining it, and then just watching Meg Foster, man, and Robert Morley, of course, and Wings Hauser is fun too. And some of the supporting cast as well. It's just a great movie overall. I don't know what else to say about it, man. The Arrow release is freaking phenomenal. It's a great double feature with Anthropophagus. I'll say this: I think he gained a lot of his character, Robert Morley, that is, from Ernest Thesiger, who of course played Horace Fem from the 1932 James Whale film, The Old Dark House. In fact, I really do believe he took a lot from that character, only because I found out that he actually played a femme character in the William Castle remake to that film in 1968. And so I think he was a fan of Ernest Thesiger. And it's very apparent in just his acting, which is just, like I said, I went back and watched that 6 minutes and 31 seconds, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 times. I just couldn't get enough of it. I just loved it, man. It just hit me the right way. So anyways, for 1986, second weekend, it is The Wind, a Nico film here in week 424. As we continue to roll on through the month of October. As always, we end these things off with Go Bills.
This is not a dream.